It is time now to talk to one of my spiritual heroes. He's a well-known pastor here in Northeast Ohio, also a prolific writer who has written 15 books talking about the Reverend Dr. Marvin McMickle. He joins us now with more on his latest book, which explores the role of social justice in religion today. Dr. McMickle, it is always good to talk to you, my friend. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Wayne Dawson. It's nice to talk to you. Thank
All
you
right.
so much for having me on.
Oh, our pleasure. I'm going to jump right in it. Let the
Sure.
oppressed go free, exploring theologies of liberation. Now, when we talk about let the oppressed go free, kind of mirrors a recurring theme in the Bible, to let the captives go free, but you're taking it a step further. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, the title of the book actually comes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, which says that God is not particularly impressed by people who offer lots of religious rituals and observances, but who do not engage in the work of ending the oppression of the poor, the oppression of those who are marginalized in society. And so to let the oppressed go free is to do everything in your power, one, not to contribute to anybody else's oppression, and two, to identify and try to bring to an end all of the systemic forms of oppression that are being experienced. And not just, by the way, on the basis of race, but also on the basis of class, rich and poor, on the basis of gender, male and female, on the basis of sexual orientation, and then finally in my book also on the basis of Native Americans, who perhaps experience more systemic oppression than any other group in our nation's history.
Reverend, talk about liberation theology and talk about the roots of that.
Liberation theology dates back to James Cone, my professor at Union Theological Seminary. His first book came out in 1969, and the basic thesis is that if you read the Old Testament and the New Testament, what you see is a continuing drumbeat of God expressing an interest in the elimination of oppression based upon any number of factors. And that if the only thing that preachers preach about and scholars write about is personal salvation, I'm saved, I've got a one-on-one relationship with God, but I am not working to end systemic and continuing forms of discrimination, then I'm not where God is.
Okay.
God is one place. God was with the Hebrews in the book of Exodus, bringing them out of slavery in Egypt. God shows up in Jesus in Nazareth, who says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he wants me to bring release to the captives." So it's about a 60-year-old tradition now. And it's one of the ways by which I think the Bible must be read if you really want to understand what it is that God has been doing in history and wants the church to do.
Boy, we're running out of time, and I hate it because there's so much I want to talk to you. Real quickly, talk about what the church is dealing with now with the LGBTQ movement and how that's it's dividing some churches. If you can talk about that real quickly.
Yeah, sure. I mean, LGBTQ persons are saying that they are suffering from discrimination both inside the church and beyond. I will simply say this: to the extent that the churches decide to be very aggressive in enforcing certain social behaviors, but are ignoring others. So it's okay if you have adultery. It's okay if you have fornication. It's okay if you're a drunkard. It's okay if you're a racist. You just cannot be sympathetic toward LGBTQ people. It is a great hypocrisy. And I think if you're going to enforce some strict regulation about LGBTQ, you ought to be just as strict about other forms of behavior, or don't be hypocritical and simply get out of the way and let persons in that community aspire to the same levels of freedom and opportunity as everybody else. So I err on the side of openness and generosity toward that population. I understand there are other groups who feel very differently than I do. My call to them is Let the Oppressed Go Free.
The Reverend Dr. Marvin McMickle. His latest book is Let the Oppressed Go Free, exploring theologies of liberation. And the book is on sale right now. And it's a wonderful read, very enlightening. And once again, Dr. McMickle, thank you so much for your time. I understand you're a busy man, but you have blessed us this morning, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate
I appreciate
it.
the invitation.
All right,
Okay.
man. Talk to you.
Bye.